Hi, well, we're going for a walk today. Uh, we're just going to enter Doddington the Heath, and we're going to walk back into Hugglescote. We're going to join the footpath by Donington le Heath Manor House. It's open a few days in the week. Check their website out. There's quite a nice car park here with disabled parking. You can see St John's Church and Bardon Hill in the distance in Hugglescote, and if one was going to the manor house, the first building was put here in 1290. This would be the main entrance, but we're not going in today. I'm going to walk down this footpath. It's the beginning of November, so we are lucky to have some nice sunshine. We may see some autumn leaves. We haven't had much, well, I don't think we've had much frost yet, so they haven't turned quite so golden as they will. Here's a nice view of the manor house. It's a very interesting place to look around. It's got a really old four-poster bed inside, and lots of other artifacts. Outside there's some very nice gardens, and they've also got a cafe as well, which is open at different times. The manor house is one of the oldest houses in Leicestershire, and once was owned by Sir Everard Digby. Him, or someone close to him, was one of the Gunpowder Plotters, so quite apt seeing we're in November. Doddington the Heath woodlands were created by the County Council's Park Service in 2005 to provide wildlife habitat and area for locals and visitors to look around. So 6,000 trees and shrubs were planted. I think we've got a signpost here just saying something about it. Oh yeah, the National Forest Tender Scheme winner, Donington le Heath Woodlands 2005. I think the Woodland Trust as well had something to do with the project too. The woods cover over 6 acres altogether, a lot of native trees, and it's crisscrossed by many footpaths. Here we have a nice field, planted about just over a month ago, I expect, and the crop is growing well already. You can see the houses of Ashburton Road as well as the new co-op. There's quite a few of these footpath marker posts, and also over there we can see Ashburton Road recreation ground with the play equipment for younger children. Also a big open space for sports and kicking the ball around. But also here, whatever state of the fields in as regards to crops, this footpath is always used well by the locals, and You can see it whether it's a ploughed field or this as it is at the moment, or when the crops are fully grown. Well, we'll go off to the right now and then take this right fork in the paths. Now the path that comes over the recreation ground is just like this, good width with tarmac, so it's very accessible for people with wheelchairs or mums with pushchairs for the children. One can have a good circular walk round the woods. In a hidden part of the woodland there's this wildlife pond, which no doubt frogs and newts and many other wildlife enjoy. So one can turn off the main paths and go down some of these grassy paths, which these berries look lovely, don't they? Just the right time of year to see them. So we can walk on down here, and there's also quite a lot of space left for wildflowers, and really is fallow ground really, so it's a very good resource for the area for the locals and visitors to enjoy. Really nice to be able to walk along a nice grassy path and look into the wood and see all the different varieties of trees and shrubs. Just found a very small stream with one of the oldest trees in the woodland. The leaves are beginning to change, although it hasn't been that cold yet. I think these are silver birch trees. Walking back out onto the main path again. The one to the left here is the one we came down earlier on. Another lovely red bush as we fork to the right. It's just lovely, isn't it, when the sun breaks through the clouds, and it's very low in the sky at this time of year, so you get longer shadows, and it's a very peaceful place. We're coming to the edge of the woods now on this footpath. Now up to the left we've got the path that goes back up to the recreation ground, and then we'll take the path that bears right, and we come across this lovely paddock. I think we can just see two horses at the top of the field there. They seem very happy here. We're now coming out onto Station Road, down the bottom of the hill from the Hugglescote crossroads, and we'll cross over to go up into Millfield recreation ground. There's something there I want to have a look at. So we've crossed over Station Road, and This is one of the pedestrian entrances to Millfield Recreation Ground. Up here on the right, you might be able to just spot it, is a memorial which is very important to the local community. Now this is in honour of the first 50 in honourable memory of the first 50 young men from this area who marched from this village on the 30th of October 1914 to fight in World War One. I just move some leaves, see what it says down the bottom. Placed here to mark 100 years since this event, and that was on the 1st of November 2014. And this is the only memorial where all these 50 are remembered together. I think there was 50 soldiers and 3 officers that went to the Western Front, and they marched from Hugglescote church, which actually I think you can see over there, St John's Church, to the railway station in Colville. And there's I've got a YouTube video which shows the march that took place a couple of years ago to remember them. Also, to remember the famous 50, these trees were planted, mountain ash trees, and they're all around the edge of Millfield Recreation Ground. I think there's 50 altogether. One to remember each soldier that went to fight. I think only about half of them come back, because it was horrific what they went through. And then we've got this path which goes across to the car park and also the multi sports area, and lots of swings and apparatus for children to play on. So now we'll try and get down this bank, because we've got the River Sence down here, and there we go, managed it. It flows around the edge of the recreation ground. Once it used to power the Millfield corn mill. I think they had a little tributary off the river and powered that, but that was demolished in the 1930s, and it stood where the car park is now. Now here's a little view of the River Sence. We've had an awful lot of rain over the last couple of weeks between the sunshine, and it's somewhat just overflowed its banks there a little bit. But it's lovely to see the sun glinting off the water and hear the sound of the water flowing by. Another nice spot here as well, with the sun just shining down onto the river and onto the tree. We're just coming out of that little valley between the River Sence and the recreation ground, and I think we can see a bridge here that goes across. The path coming down from the left is from the top of the playing field. But we got some padlocks on the bridge. Xmas Treasure Hunt 2020 on that one. It's quite a hobby, isn't it, putting padlocks on bridges these days. We've still got some sunshine. The water is a little muddy. I think the rain we've had has washed some mud off the fields further upstream. So we'll continue. Oh gosh, look, we've got a kissing gate here and a puddle to jump over. Doesn't seem, a little bit of a redundant kissing gate, so won't be any luck there today, will it? But we'll continue following the stream. It's always nice, isn't it, following a stream and just hearing the water rush by and the different vegetation you get around streams. But here we go into a meadow, really. Again, it's somewhat left in its wild state, so all the wildlife can enjoy it, as well as different flowers and fauna can thrive, really. And it's really nice to have these areas because Hugglescote is becoming a very popular place to live. There's a lot of new houses going up around the edges of the old village, and we need these sorts of places to be able to get out and get away from screen time, especially to just find the peace that the nature can give. One can just find some time to have a walk in the countryside. Makes you feel a lot better in oneself and one's well-being. A lot of people get very complicated about restoring their mental health, but sometimes the occasional time out in the countryside or on the coastline can really help one think of one's priorities and what a lot we've got to be grateful for. Continuing on this footpath towards one of the older parts of Hugglescote. I think I can hear the river again. Ooh. Oh yes, there's I think the last bridge that we'll come across to cross it today. We're going to end up at the Hugglescote Gateway, so there's several things to see before we get there. Oh, a bit muddy here, isn't it? I think we'll have to just try and walk round the edge, and a bit squelchy. The leaves help when they fall on the mud because it can sort of give a little bit of a carpet over the muddy ground, but we've certainly had a lot of rain in the past few days, so it's only to be expected on a country walk. Oh well, we're coming up to a more traditional kissing gate now as we leave this meadow and marshland. And we've got some old steps here, the handrail. There's a squirrel just going up that tree over there. Now this is the old graveyard of St James's C of E Church, which was once on Dennis Street. Got some very old gravestones here, some of them leaning over as time passes. Some of these gravestones have white notices on them. I think it's something to do with the grave toppling problem. Graves, if you put some weight on the side at the top and they wobble more than a certain amount, they're either supposed to be repaired, made safe, or laid flat on the ground. So hopefully they're able to restore these. We have another view of Millfield playing field with its sports and leisure facilities, and then here we have some more paddocks, and there's another horse enjoying the sunshine this afternoon. So this is our last view on the walk of the old St James's graveyard. St James's was demolished years ago. I expect it was in bad state of repair, but it wasn't big enough mainly, so they had to build St John's on Grange Road. But now we're approaching Dennis Street. Dennis Street is one of the oldest streets in Hugglescote and got some very interesting buildings. A lot of them have got a lot of history. We're just turning right for a little while up the path, and then we can look across and up St John's Close and see the church at the end. I think now we can turn right here down this footpath. Goes between the houses. Quite a narrow footpath, but comes out onto this green, and you can see some of the new houses now that have been built over the last few years. Very nice spot to live because you've got access to all these footpaths. Now down here on the left is the old Baptist graveyard. That was on Dennis Street as well years ago. But again, it got into disrepair, so they sold it up and joined together with the Methodist Church. They now call themselves Hugglescote Community Church, meet in the village hall, and they've opened a cafe called Oasis in Central Road, which is a big resource for the local community. A man called Henry Dennis lived in what is now called Dennis Street. It was actually named after him. He lived between 1818 and 1887 and was a 19th century hymnist. And in this graveyard he has a marble tombstone that can be found, carved with a violin and an open scroll. I'm at the Hugglescote Gateway now, and in 2010 a project run by Mantle Arts, in partnership with the council, with a sculptor, Hilary Cartmel, worked with local children to create a silver tree with hands, which were representing the working people around this area from the past on the land and the mines. So here are the hands on the silver tree, representing all the hands that have worked around this area on the land and in mines. And maybe those hands that were willing to serve in the First World War and the Second from this area. And maybe some of the hands of hope for better things in the future. Alongside the silver tree is a legend of the toffee apple tree. On the edge of the village there was once a tree that grew toffee apples. The children of the village were free to pick them. Then a sweet shop opened and the owner put a fence around the tree. Now the children had to buy toffee apples from the shop. The tree died and bore no more toffee apples. One day the children visited the tree and planted their silver toffee apple papers within its roots. They cried. Suddenly the tree began to grow again, and leaves and toffee apples appeared. The children were very happy. It is said that the tree sprang to life from the children's tears. What a lovely legend. The gateway to Hugglescote. I hope you've enjoyed this footpath walk from Doddington the Heath to the Hugglescote gateway. It's certainly worth doing, and if you're a visitor to the area and have a look around the manor house as well as the footpaths and recreation grounds, and visit the cafe at the manor house or the Oasis cafe in Central Road, I do hope you enjoy your day. And I'm going to finish the video and wish you a very good day. So hope to see you soon.